All right, let's talk about the 7 reasons entrepreneurs cannot relax and how to break free, how to finally be able to relax. So, if in case we haven't met before, my name is April Bragg, and I teach entrepreneurs and leaders how to live, love, and lead with confidence. And do you ever feel like you just can't relax? Like, no matter how much you try to get done, there's always more to do. Well, as entrepreneurs, as leaders, as people that have been raised in a country that prizes productivity, there is this always working mentality. Uh, but, and there, I've identified about 7 different ways, I think, that reasons why we can't relax. And I want to share those with you so that you can see which reason might be holding you back. And also, one simple strategy. And I don't think it's going to be the strategy that you think it's going to be. I think everybody says, well, what you need to get a hobby. Or, you just go golfing, get a hobby, find something that you enjoy other than work so you can be well balanced. Well, I just don't think that that's the best advice for us as entrepreneurs, especially if we're creative entrepreneurs. Sometimes we don't want to just get a hobby for a hobby's sake. So, that is not going to be the advice that I give you. But I think that it'll also help you to understand maybe why you feel like you can't relax. I'm going to give you 7 reasons. If one of these reasons fits you, I would love if you shared it in the comments below. And if none of these reasons fit you and you have a different reason, share that in the comments below because that will help somebody else. My list is not exhaustive. I'm not saying that I know everything. I am saying that my husband and I have been on Entrepreneur, Married to an Entrepreneur, Who's Not an Entrepreneur. We've been all over this as a family for the last 20 years, 25 years of our life. Oops, I knocked 5 years of our life off. And we are very, very different personalities. So I made sure I hit up with him, what's your list? I took my list. I've culled this from the clients that I've worked with, but I would love to hear what's your reason. So 7 reasons why you as an entrepreneur can't seem to relax. And I think we all struggle with this. In fact, I think this is a reason why many people drag their feet about going into entrepreneurship, even though they're working a job they hate. And they think that they can make better money as an entrepreneur, but they love that sense of freedom. And what I mean by freedom is the mental freedom of I go to work, I do my job, and at the end of my job, then I get to leave my work at work. I don't have to take that responsibility home. And that is certainly something that entrepreneurs and business owners have to deal with. It's also something that leaders have to deal with. But that's also something that women have been dealing with since the beginning of time. You know that old saying that a man works from dusk to dawn, but a woman's work is never done? That doesn't make sense. I butchered that saying. Please forgive me. Somebody correct me in the comments. I would love to get that saying right. But there is a sense that there is always more work to do. So we're going to identify these 7 reasons, and then I'm going to show you how I used to help women with this, how I used to help mothers with this, how I now help entrepreneurs with this, how I helped myself with this. One simple solution that if you start applying it, it will feel like you are running your work instead of your work is running you. All right. So reason number 1, why entrepreneurs feel like they have to work all the time. This was my big one. This was my big one. Work is worship syndrome. The Puritan work ethic. If you are Gen X or older, I think you know what I'm talking about, especially if you came from the Midwest, especially if you came from a Judeo-Christian background. You have the sense that work is worship. It is how we honor and glorify God. I'm not saying it's not, but the counter swing to that work is worship notion is the idea that relaxing is wasteful and wasteful is a sin. Raise your hand. Give me an amen if this applies to you. I remember when I went to college and I am like, seriously, I am deeply uncomfortable with not actually doing something productive, with not actually working. This created a real problem when the college is trying to get us to, socialize, get to know people, relax, have this experience. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. How do you do that? I'm so confused. But the work is worship syndrome. Now, work is a wonderful thing. I don't think it's a dirty 4-letter word. And I think that we can worship our Creator God with the works of our hands. But if you go all the way back to the Garden of Eden, you'll notice that God didn't set it up for the first humans to be working all the time. There was a point when they were doing work, and there was a point when they were relaxing, and there was a point when they were resting. There is supposed to be, there is supposed to be a rhythm to our days. Our days are not all about work, okay? So that is just a misconception that we have taken on. Reason number 2, I hope this is not yours, but if it is, I want to share it. And this is something that you might definitely want to reach out to me so we can talk about. This is one of the ways that I help my clients. The avoidance addiction. As in, work can also be a very convenient distraction. If there's something else in your life that is not going well, maybe it's your relationship, maybe it's your health, or maybe it's a personal issue, maybe there's some drama or some conflict. Focusing on work can be a real way to avoid dealing with those things. But the problem with that is it gets you stuck in more than one area. So we really don't want our work to come at the price of our health or our relationships or getting healthy spiritually or emotionally or mentally or relationally. So if you ever find yourself hiding out in your work, I want you to be aware of that. So that's why I wanted to share this on the list. Reason number 3, the time scarcity trap. There's just never enough time. There's never enough time. Do you constantly feel like there's just not enough time to get everything done? Excuse my stuttering today. And I'm not going to edit this because I am on vacation, by the way. This is, I am in a remote cabin, and so we're not going to be able to edit this. But I wanted to still share it with you. And I thought, what better time to share a video with you about the 7 reasons why entrepreneurs cannot relax than while I am relaxing in a break. So, this time scarcity trap. There is always more to do, and there's just not enough time to get it done. When you believe that you are always running out of time, you're going to trap yourself in a cycle where stopping feels impossible. So the problem with this is that principle of diminishing returns. The longer we work, the less effective we get at it because of exhaustion, because of tiredness, because we're not coming up with new, fresh ideas. We're never stepping back to say, is there a better way? So yes, there's always something else that can be done, but this is how we as entrepreneurs create the system where we give ourselves a job and we become a cog in our own business. I talk often about cogs in systems. We become cogs in systems and the systems entrap us. Well, this is why we do not want to fall into this. Yes, there is always something to be done, but we need to learn how to overcome that urgency. I think it was Stephen, I totally blanked out on his name. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, that guy, that said, he created the diagram, the matrix where it talks about the urgent, the important, the urgent but important, the urgent but not important, the important but not urgent. And we want to get into that where we're always doing work at the important but not urgent. Okay, reason number 4. So we talked about reason number 1 was the work is worship syndrome. Reason number 2, the avoidance addiction. Reason number 3, the time scarcity trap. Reason number 4 is going to be the perfectionist paralysis. Or maybe it's not even paralysis, but it's the perfectionist push, where it's it's never done. It could always be better, always be better. I got so upset as a kid because I was taught this cute little poem. If you grew up in a Becca, you'll understand. Good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better best. Good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better best. Y'all, that's great if you're going to be a world-class violinist, but you still need rest. That is not great when you take that mentality to every single area of your life, that every task needs to be at the best level. No, it doesn't. No, some things are good just done. Just do them. They don't need to be perfectionists. We don't need to clean our houses to pass a white glove inspection. That's craziness. We don't need to deliver above and beyond what we've promised. We don't need to create reports when we just need the numbers. We do not need to write books when we could just send an email. Don't bring this perfectionist mentality to all your tasks. There are some things that do need to be perfected, and they get perfected through practice, not through trying to get it perfectly right the first time. All right, so that's reason number 4. Reason number 5, fear of falling behind. Oh, I find myself all the time in this. If I take a break, then that person that I am secretly comparing myself to on social media is going to get ahead of me. And then I'm going to feel like a failure because, they started later than me and they're now ahead of me revenue-wise. This is that compare and despair trap, and it is insidious, it is frustrating, and it needs to be broken, okay? We do not need to be trying to keep up with anybody else in our lives. There's also the fear that, and this is a real fear. I mean, this is a valid fear, I should say, of maybe I'll lose momentum in my business if I take a break or if I stop now. And that might be, and that's why you need to figure out a system that maintains momentum for you so that you can take a break. Because again, you need breaks. You need to relax. Your business needs to be able to survive without you. If your business cannot survive without you, then you don't have a business. You have a baby. And even babies, we want to get them to grow up so that they can feed themselves, so we can have a break. Oh, I love comparing businesses to babies growing up because that's what it feels like, I think, sometimes. We're giving birth to this new thing and it's so exciting and it's so hard and it's so scary. And then it gets in the baby stage and it takes all of our time and attention. And then it gets to the toddler stage and it starts breaking everything. And you're just like, oh my goodness, I didn't even see that. We got to fix that now. That's supposed to be. I should do a video on this. If you'd like me to do a video on the different stages of business according to, babies and kids growing up, put that in the comments below. Different stages of business. Is your business a baby? I see that video in the future. All right. So the fear of falling behind, it'll keep you chained to your business because you're either comparing yourself to the competition or because your business is too reliant on you. It's like a baby instead of a business. Okay, reason number 6. Your identity is tied to your productivity. This is another one that I struggle with. I feel much better when I can say I got all of this done, and I feel used to. I've gotten so much better. I've worked so hard on this, in fact, to not tie my identity to my productivity. But I will say it was honestly difficult. I remember it was probably about a year and a half. I was taking a beautiful walk on a beautiful day. It was about 11 o'clock on a Tuesday. And all of a sudden, I just felt this guilt of I could be working right now, and I probably should. And it's like, wait, no, it's okay. Like the whole reason I personally start a business is not so that I can, take over an industry. I wanted to create a lifestyle business, like a business that would give me freedom of time, freedom of energy, freedom of financial money. And so it doesn't make any sense for me to then create a business where I am a slave to my business. But I still felt very, very guilty about having actually created that. And it took me a while to just get past that mindset that I should be working all the time. Um, number, but you'll know that this is, let me go back to your identity tied to your productivity. You'll know this is your problem when you feel the need to be constantly busy. That your busyness, like the busier you are, the more important you are, or the more needed you are, or you get a sense of, I must be doing well because people need me. That is when your identity is tied to your productivity. All right, let's move on to reason number 7. And this is a hard one. I understand this one. I've understand many, many times because we've all been there. And we're all looking to get out of this reason. But once we stay in there for a little bit, it sometimes becomes a habit. And that is the financial pressure. Like you feel the need to work all the time because you need the money. Relaxation has become a luxury that you cannot afford. So you're feeling the pressure to support your business, you're feeling the pressure to support your family, your lifestyle, and it's hard to justify stepping away from work. Okay. Which is why, by the way, one of the things that I teach entrepreneurs as they're coming up is that do not inflate your lifestyle as your income grows, especially if you're trying to create an entrepreneur life that gives you freedom back. Freedom is being able to call your time your own. Freedom is being able to have the money to do the things you want. But a lot of times to get there, first we have to have the money to pay for the things that we need. But then we go from needs to luxuries when what we should be doing is going from needs to investments. So we want to make some of our financial income into income that comes back to us, money that comes back to us passively. Or there should be a better word than this because nothing's quite passive, but where it's not tied to our personal time, our personal minutes in the business. So you'll want to learn how to buy back your time. I've done a video about this, talking about time dollars and buying back your time. I'll put that in the links below. But the financial pressure, we all have to start here, but you want to become aware that do not make this a habit. If you stay in here too long, like months and months or maybe years, then we need to talk because your services might not be priced correctly, or you need to have a plan to get out of this quickly. Alex Hormozi, I think, talks about this a lot. He was willing to sleep on the floor of his gym, but he wasn't willing to create a business that kept him sleeping on the floor of his gym just to make ends meet. That's when, if you're struggling too long, we need to be looking at your business and say, why is it not giving back to you? If it's not giving back to you better than a job, I'm not saying in the first week, but I'm saying pretty soon, then let's check into some things. What are some key areas that you might be missing? What are some gaps in your business that need to be closed so that the incomes can start flowing? All right. So those are the 7 reasons that I've identified. And I've already told you, I can't wait to hear if you guys come up with any others. Work is worship. Avoidance addiction, number 2. The time scarcity trap, number 3. I can't even say it. The perfectionist paralysis, number 4. Number 5, the fear of falling behind. Number 6, identity tied to productivity. And number 7, the financial pressure. And then we've talked about, the advice to get a hobby. Just get a hobby. It sounds great. But for us as creative entrepreneurs, this can actually, well, either be a frustration because there's nothing that we're quite interested in as much as our business. It's very, very exciting and interesting and intriguing to have a business that you're growing. Like I said, it's like a new baby. And as you've been going at it along, you might think that it still might be the most exciting thing in your life. But if you're a creative entrepreneur, a new hobby might become a distraction or an obsession, rather than something that helps you relax. So that is not the advice that I give. Now, I do think that if you do have hobbies, then your business should give you the time to pursue those, okay? So I'm not against hobbies. I'm not anti-hobby. I just don't think that is the solution to this problem, even though it's given a lot. Here's what I think is the solution to the problem. Define what done looks like. And we want to define what done looks like ahead of time. If you're an entrepreneur, yes, your work is never really done, but you can decide what is good enough for today, or for this week, or for this project, or for this client. So when I say define what done looks like, what is actually happening is that you are creating a boundary. For example, one way of doing this, I had a client that just recently did this. She decided her workday ends at 6, no matter what. No matter what doesn't get done, the workday ends at 6, so that she has time to relax, so that she has time to recharge, so that she has time to reset her mind and calm it, so that she can go to bed on time, so that she can get enough sleep to take care of her health. Now, that is kind of an extreme case where it's like, yes, we need to set a boundary. We need to set a boundary hard because your health is suffering because of it. But that's not the only boundary. Like, you could decide this certain number of tasks is when I'm stopping. I always make a list of these are the 3 main things that I'm going to do today. Anything I do after that is a boundary. So I'm realizing this as I'm telling you guys this. I kind of do a dual thing of it, there's 3 main things that I'm usually looking to get done in a day. And then sometimes there's other things that'd be like, oh, it'd be nice if we got to that or got to that. But I also have a backup boundary of a time. I'm done. I am done. In fact, you're going to laugh at me, but most times, unless I have a client later, I am finished with work at 5 p.m. And I do no work on the weekends because I have found that amount, those kind of boundaries, are what helps me work and produce at the highest level. And it just makes sense that bring your best to your work hours and then you can work fewer hours. But we've all known people that have had 40-hour work week jobs that could have been done in 10, but they were just a warm body filling the space, collecting the paycheck. And then we come in and we're just like, no, get this done, automate this, eliminate this, do this instead of that. And all of a sudden, 40 hours is down to 10 hours and getting better results. That's the kind of creativity that we have. And that's the kind of creativity that we need to employ in our businesses. So don't get trapped into thinking that building a business should take a certain amount of hours. Maybe it takes a few more hours to get started at the beginning, but our success is not defined by the number of hours that we work. I'm going to say that just one more time. Our success in life is not going to be defined by the number of hours we work. It's by the quality of the work that we finish, that we bring to life. It's by what we choose to spend our time on and the value of that work to ourselves, to our family, to our community, to our lives. So Set a clear boundary. You could start by setting a time boundary. You could start by setting a certain number of tasks boundary. You could define what good enough is for a project. Like it looks like this. Whatever we can get cleaned up in the next 3 hours, or whatever. I remember I was doing a scanning job one time for a company, years and years and years of paper records that were going to go digital. And it's like, I'm just going to commit to working on this project for an hour a day. That's what I'll give to it. And eventually it will get done. So when we define what done looks like, and here's the key, you're going to want to define it ahead of time, either the night before or the morning of. Then this will prevent your work from running your life. This will give you permission to step away without guilt. You do not have to be a slave to your to-do list. In fact, one of the things that I teach is that one of the things that we need to refocus on in our life is from a to-do list mentality to a priority mentality. Because when we are focused on a to-do list mentality, then again, we've just given ourselves a job. We don't have a business, we have a job filled with tasks. But when we refocus on a priority mentality, then we always have that confidence, that assurance that no matter what, even if we didn't get everything done, we got the most important things done, and that's what matters most. The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. All right, so don't think it should look like a certain number of hours. Don't focus on the fact that there's always more to be done, but focus on what does done look like for today. Back when I was talking to women about creating homes that take care of itself, one of the things I would teach them is that, for example, yes, the laundry is never done, but what's done for today? Maybe it's just one load a day. If you did one load of laundry a day, 5 days a week, would you stay on top of the laundry? Even if there's still a couple of towels left in the basket that your perfectionist brain wants to just see the bottom of that basket all the time. And it's like, but that's not how life is. Things are always getting dirty. But what keeps it maintained? What keeps the laundry maintained? One load a day, 4 to 5 days a week, depending on the size of your family. And that only takes 15 minutes, by the way. Okay, gone a little bit off topic, but we all do have laundry, in case you did not know that tip. Let's see. Okay, so final thing. Remember, don't let your work run you, okay? You're going to run it. Define what done looks like ahead of time. And then, this is the key, you're going to have to give yourself permission to enjoy your downtime. I'm also going to tell you one more thing. A lot of you are going to be so uncomfortable with that downtime that you're going to give it away to other people right away. Catch yourself on that. I'm not saying don't spend time with your loved ones and all that. I'm just saying be aware of if you have a strong desire to jump into another project, a home project, a church project, a community project. Catch yourself. Am I just trading one form of busy for another form of busy? Is this something that I truly would enjoy putting my time in? Or am I just so used to being busy that I can't handle not being busy? Or is there something that I'm trying to distract from? Be aware of yourself. Awareness is the very, very first step to an intentional life. And intentionality is the requirement for a great life, for being able to end our days looking back with no regrets. Okay, so remember, enjoy your downtime. You'll be more productive. You're going to be more creative. You'll actually enjoy your life, which is why we are starting these businesses, is to make our lives better. And it's why we're running these businesses, to make our lives and our clients' lives better. And let me just say this. Thanks for watching. It really means a lot that you hung with me all the way to the end. Ended up being a little bit longer. If this resonated with you, go ahead and like and subscribe, share it with somebody else. If you have anything to add to this conversation, put it in the comments below. I would love to continue this conversation in the comments below. And tell me, what is the hardest part for you when it comes to stepping away from your work? Or have you already solved this? And if so, do you have a different tip to share with other people? And if you'd like more videos or more strategies like this, put those in the comments. Ask me, give me some ideas. I would love to share topics that are relative to you in your entrepreneurial journey. All right. You have a great day. Bye-bye.